We have a weird thumbnail today. Warming up because my glasses, I can't find them. Oh, there.
And before anyone says anything, he means his other pair of glasses and not the one he's wearing.
So that's for reading, which strains my eyes if I use it to look at stuff that's that far away.
This is because Toby doesn't want to train himself to use his bifocals.
Because the bifocals are annoying to use for just the close-up.
Oh. Ships have been arriving.
Yeah.
None of my tabs are open because my computer restarted. Thanks, Windows Update.
Oh boy. Okay, I have to turn on the monitors so we can see who's joined us.
It could help if you wear your glasses, though. Then you'll really see.
Yeah.
Two.
So, Facebook monitor is running. YouTube is running. That was a really funny thumbnail.
Hey, that worked! I'm glad. That was already after, like you said, we're going to have a very weird thumbnail. And so I delivered.
Yeah, that's a funny thumbnail. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I got my link. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the episode where I'm not going to say much.
What? Why?
I barely remember my dreams.
Well, we're not limited to just the ones you remember. And we're not limited only to the ones that...
I don't remember them. What am I talking about? So we just talk about the dreams I hope to have.
Yes, so that's what dreams also are. Not just the dreams when you sleep, but the dreams you have in life. But we're already starting and we haven't started. This is Toby.
Wow, we're really doing this?
Yeah, we have to.
What if I reject your duck?
Because we're already starting to talk about it, so we might as well start the episode.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
This is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate. But at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. We
Noel.
have Noel all cheering over you because you're so
What?
daddy right now.
Like, don't you start. You're more daddy than me.
But yeah, today is our 148th episode, and we
Yeah,
are
yes.
talking about dreams. It was a requested topic.
It was actually the partner topic of literally last week where we
Mhm.
talked about sleeping. We rolled it today, so it's like, okay, we might as well talk about dreams today.
And as Rocky was mentioning earlier, you're not someone who usually remembers your dreams.
Yeah, I rarely do. And if the few times I do remember snippets of my dreams, they're all very mundane. Whereas Toby's usual line when he wakes up is, I had this weird dream. It's like every time. It's never even like this. It's not even like this amazing dream, this funny dream. It's always, I had this weird dream.
But you have to admit that after I tell you the stories, they are weird.
Yeah, I totally agree that there is a certain weirdness to dream.
Noel's joking that our next topic would be aspirations. And then our next episode after that would be what? Mission vision.
Charity, fidelity, faith. I don't know.
So yeah, we'll be talking about dreams. We'll talk about dreams that people have, dreams that we've had, but we'll also talk about dreams in general. We'll talk about we can even talk about stuff in relation to dreams, whether it's lucid dreaming, to recurring ones, um, to nightmares, and then we can even talk about where popular fiction joins in dreams in ways that we like.
Yeah, we're gonna stretch this topic apparently, and only so that I can contribute, and we don't just have like an
We
hour of
always-
Toby's
Hey,
weird
we
dreams.
always stretch the topic to talk about more stuff.
Let's start with the one where you were like running through walls. Do you remember that one?
Not so much. Wait, was this the one where I also changed jeans at some point?
I don't know.
Because that was the Levi's commercial. I realized now. There was a Levi's commercial where they're running through walls. So maybe that's why I had a dream. But I've had so many dreams throughout the years. Hey, Karen! Noel's just shared he's been having bad dreams as well.
Toby's been
Um,
having unusual dreams as of late in a series. Okay, to be fair, Toby's dreams are normally one shots.
Mhm.
They're like super crazy moment, and then Toby is always scrambling to tell me the story
Before
because
I forget.
he's going to forget
Mhm.
very quickly. But then you kind of had a series recently, and I don't know if you want to go into it, but it's just interesting that recently you've been like having like
Well,
major connected themes.
there have been instances where the dreams seem connected, and in some way, I do feel it might have to do. Hey, Mitch, with the fact that
and you're
um,
him. Hello.
I do feel there. Well, I am a believer in that there is more than just the world we live in, and this has been evident in both my faith as well as my philosophy towards life, and
And your
everything.
questing period.
Yeah, everything from being a spirit quester in the past for a very short amount of time, but then exploring that on my own in certain ways for a period of time in my life, and then eventually, choosing to turn back from all the weird third eye stuff because I just wanted to be simpler. But then I still have moments I can't really explain, and a lot of these moments do happen through dreams. Um,
Noel is one of the many people who suggest that you have some sort of a dream book and keep a log of your dreams. Apparently, I am the dream journal.
Well, I did try to have a dream journal in the past, but it ended up being a lot of I can't read what I wrote.
Yeah, now it's like I had this weird dream, and it's this oral tradition that we are passing on.
So like as a kid, one of my earliest recurring nightmares, and I only state it as a nightmare because it really terrified me back then.
Okay,
Um,
and Rich is here, and he had a bad dream.
Oh, yeah, we'll share your dreams as well. We'll talk about them in the comments. But I had this recurring nightmare as a kid that had to do with this gigantic gear. So think it's a large gear with the
Okay.
teeth of the gear, and it's slowly rotating down towards you.
Okay,
So you have this feeling it's gonna crush you, and then um, the later versions of that dream, because I would have that dream. It doesn't matter what the dream was earlier, but it'll be suddenly this realization that I could see something huge going down towards me, and I'm like, I'm gonna get crushed by this gear.
okay,
But then it later changed to me trying to climb up the gear.
okay.
So it sort of shifts from going down on me to becoming steps.
So it's like the wheel in Wheel of Fortune, and in The Price is Right. You know, it's like-
Less the wheel, because the wheel is still smooth.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think gear. But then imagine now it becomes stairs. But as you climb up the stairs, so you have the angle, right? You're climbing up.
Okay,
You're nearing the ceiling, and the ceiling's not like to the side. So you now have to try to crawl.
the ceiling's not to the side.
Because in a staircase, the ceiling's really high, or the ceiling is like the floor of the next floor, so it's like on the side. So when you climb up, you now stand on that ceiling because it's the floor.
Oh, okay.
But here you have the stairs, but the ceiling's directly above it, so you have to like squeeze and try to find the way to go through it, and then I get stuck. And this was such a recurring dream for so long. To the point that there was even the reverse of me being up there. Then I have to find my way down, and I don't know why, but it kept becoming a recurring image. I never quite understood the meaning behind it.
I often dreamt I was doing what I was normally doing.
Mhm.
I dream when I was in school, and then I'd wake up and crap, I'm still at home. And then I dream I'm at work.
So these are these dreams wherein you're prepared for something, or you traveled already, or you packed na, you got dressed
Yeah,
na.
it like goes through my normal
Mhm.
routine, and then nothing extraordinary happens. It's just I'm going to work.
You thought you got to it. You thought you
Yes,
were already in school.
I mean, there's probably a few that like I have snippets of like weird
Mhm.
scenarios, but they always feel like real life. They always feel very mundane.
Mhm.
Nothing fantastical, nothing like
I
that.
hate my realistic dreams like that, in the sense that they tend to be either I'm given something or I find something. So like it's a realistic dream, and then parang I remember in the younger years I had that oh ito yung baon, and then like 5,000 pesos for example, and then I wake up and my hands still clenched, and I'm like, "Ah, where did it go?" And I'm like tossing the bed over.
Okay, wait. There's a lot of comments. So
Yeah.
Noel says he remembers that that's one of the things you bonded over about the
Mhm.
spirit quester stuff.
Yes.
And then he had a recurring dream of flying, but he could only fly 6 feet off the ground.
Quick segue on that one. Um, I had a dream of flying to the point that it kept happening. So I wanted to learn to do it because in the dream, I would move my feet like I was on a bicycle, and it would cause this vortex and I'd be flying, and it worked in the dream. So I was like, I kept trying to do it in real life. Okay, go on.
I can totally imagine you doing it. I now have picture references of Toby as a child because of visiting his parents' house.
You
And
could see where I would have done it.
yes, yeah, I imagine what you look like and how you would have done it. All right.
Okay.
So, and then for Noel adds, you have to do a run to fly, like runway levels, like airplane. But
Okay.
very weird, but he had it for many years. Yerm says he dreamt of Madonna giving him a private show when he was a kid.
Okay.
Okay.
What was your celebrity related odd dream when
I
you were
never had
younger?
a celebrity dream. It's always just life.
Okay.
At least as far as I remember it. And then
Mine was weird because it was Seagal, and it was
Under Siege 1 or Under Siege 2 era Seagal. Because, he put on some pounds between the two.
oh wait, no, it wasn't Seagal. It was what's his
Van
name?
Damme.
Yes, it was Van Damme, and it was weird because we were on the floor of the back seat of a car, and he was
Okay.
doing push-ups.
That seems not like a lot
I
of space
know
to
it
do
was very
push-ups.
weird, and he kept bumping into me while doing push-ups, and it was very
How
erotic.
old were you? Were you out to
No,
yourself?
I was not out to myself.
So
That's
there
why.
you go.
That's why it was so. What's going on? And he was like push-ups bumping into me in the bottom of the car.
Rich's dream sounds a little traumatic.
Okay.
Sorry you had a
Hmm.
rough wake up there. Mitch also had an emotional dream. Ooh, big stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna reshare. I mean, like it's there in comments, and I'll just leave it at that. So okay. Karen, anyone else have naked dreams of being naked in public?
I've had, but it wasn't in the context of sex. It was because I needed to poop, and I have a lot of those I need to poop dreams. Right? I've told you these. We're in
And need to pee dreams.
like I'd wake up and I'm like that was so weird because it would be a dream of me, for example, in some foreign country, and I'm trying to poop but the door doesn't lock, so I'm trying to hold the door while trying to poop, and then I'm freaking out. Or in another case, it was suddenly high school again, so it was a really yucky, dirty school bathroom. But then I had to poop, and then I'm looking at the toilet and it's like terrible, terrible, but I really have to poop. So I'm like trying to poop without sitting down, and then I'll wake up and I'm like, oh God, then I want to go to the bathroom, and I'm so happy our bathroom's clean. But I never had like the dream of being naked and feeling embarrassed you're naked.
Mm,
Did you ever have that?
no. See, I'm a real conversation starter today. Okay. Karen's celebrity dream was weird because it was Peter Capaldi being upset with her.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I remember. You posted about that.
But then again, I'm especially like whether in his cop show or in Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi was upset with everyone. So
Mhm.
maybe it's not too far off the mark. Noel's celebrity would always be wet, like Ricky Martin, Rob Lowe, Gary Barlow. Take that, Gunner. Wow. As in, uh, these the celebrity influences in the dream make you wet, or it is because of classic '90s. It is always raining and music video wet. I'm just curious. Okay.
Without
Um.
getting into detail on Rich's comment,
Yeah.
we've had some of this. It carried over as you wake up moments.
Yeah. Toby's been upset with me.
I've had a few screaming at something, or there was even the time I don't know, accidentally threw a punch. Right, I like lashed out at something, and I think I elbowed you at that time.
Yes, I have been hit waking
Mm-mm.
up.
And then you have had your weird mumbles as well, wherein I start panicking, thinking you're having a nightmare, and I try to wake you.
And then, of course, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Toby says I do a lot of things when I sleep, and I just don't remember most of it. Um, um, okay, Mitch's dream. And I'm not gonna read it out only because wow, that's a very emotional thing, and it's weird. Okay, so Mitch also asked, "Do you ever have dreams where you're the observer?"
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I don't have that. I mean, I generally because it's mundane, then it's generally my life and so it's my perspective
Okay.
always. I think the only observer type moment is that I have vague recollections of a dream when I was a kid that I was in snow, which is weird because I had
Mm-hmm.
never experienced snow. But it was cold, and then I was running, and then I trip over something,
Mm-hmm.
and I turn around, and then it's me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
You're watching yourself. Yeah, that's sort of an.
or or
But you knew
or
you
it's
but
also me. I
but
tripped
yeah,
over me.
you knew you were standing, but you also can see yourself.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I
yes.
don't know if it was doppelganger me being dead or something. So then
Mm.
that was just I woke up and like
And
that was odd.
but so you didn't get freaked out. It was more
No, it
weird.
was just like oh that was fascinating.
So
Okay.
I've had a few observer dreams. Typically in those dreams, when I see myself, it's me going through something I remember going through.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because the dreams I've had where it's not an observer, it's usually me trying to do stuff. But there have been some dreams wherein I'm seeing myself going through a motion of something I've done before.
Mm.
So like maybe it was a test, and this time I see myself from outside the test, and things get weird because like instead of while the test is happening on the outside, some giant gorilla speaking and the eye is staring at me, and I freak out.
Isn't
And
that over the garden wall?
um, I realized King Kong had a scene that was so like that. So I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
came
yeah.
from King Kong. And then there was another one wherein I was watching myself because I was calling everyone to step outside the house. And this was the house in Tahanan.
Hmm.
I was in the bedroom looking out, and I could see in the garden myself yelling, labas kayo, dali."
Okay.
And as I went out as the camera and not as me, the sky was filled with UFO stuff. And it was super um, close encounters of the third kind.
Okay, to be fair, I only have vague recollections of like the shape of certain dreams in the sense that I know it felt very mundane, very real life, but I have a lot of like we're trying to solve something
Mhm.
dreams, but it feels very puzzle,
Mhm.
very mystery escape room style. But it's not an escape room; it's like
Mhm.
a real life situation where I'm being deductive and I
Mhm.
don't know, and I can never pick. And I know those are the times that I try to stay in the dream longer, or I
Yes.
don't want to wake up. But of course, you inevitably wake
So
up.
that's part of what some call or identify as lucid dreaming.
Yeah,
Wherein
because you're aware now that
you
it's not
you become
quite real.
aware,
Yeah,
you become more conscious, but you are still in the dream enough that you haven't awoken. I know there was a point in time I got used to noticing I'm in the lucid dream, so I tried to activate stuff. Like there was one, I realized I was in a lucid dream, so I was like, I want to jump on the houses, I want to jump on the houses, and I was like doing all these anti-gravity jumping, and I was like, this is so cool. But then I got so excited I woke up. Uh, and then there was another one wherein very horror. scary something. I was starting to freak out, but then I realized it was a dream, so it stopped being horrific, and I wanted to unveil the horror, and I woke up.
Mitch asks, dream of being chased.
Lots,
Yeah.
lots of
Hence
that.
the weird, like, crashing through walls of a building
Mhm.
one, which is like, I don't know.
And that
It may
common
be the Levi's commercial.
and that common adage of as you try to run, the more slow and heavy, and it's like you're in oil.
Okay, to be fair, I don't think I've had, or at least I have no recollections of very action-packed
Mhm.
dreams. And then again, I'm not a runner, so I say this as someone, ironically, who jogs in the apartment. So, I don't know.
So Noel does add, like floating out of the body. I feel that's just astral projecting.
That's the observer
Yeah, I
fiction.
think I think it does relate to that. It's hard though to know when it's that supposedly that or when it's just a dream, because there are times I feel like I'm bearing witness to things I can't possibly know. But in the past, I used to think I was astral projecting, but now I really think more it's probably just a dream, or probably a dream that has a message.
Okay.
Because I've had dreams that do feel like they have messages, and I can't explain how they could have just been coincidence. And we can talk about that more in detail.
Rich shares he had a recurring dream where it was living through the Battle of Hogwarts. But okay, and then he's like, he knows it sounds exciting, but it could be scary. And you know, it's totally legit. That was a
Mhm.
war zone scene,
Mhm.
and I don't think anybody faults you if it was scary, especially if they lived through it. A lot of popular fiction is interesting to read or observe, but not fun to live through.
Mhm.
Even overly Christian allegory Narnia sounds nice, but if you were part of the army charging at one another with a bunch of animals with you,
Mhm.
yeah, it would be quite terrifying. Okay. Um, Karen has tried sort of taking control, but it doesn't quite happen.
Yeah.
Wait, no, Noel, I hate it when I dream of dreaming and then you wake up and you're still dreaming pala. To be fair, I
Yes.
haven't had the loop. You've had
I've had the
you've
loop,
had loops.
and that was I've had really terrible, terrifying loops, as in horror story level loops. We're in nightmare of someone had broken into the house. I wake up and I'm like turning to tell na parang someone broke into the house, but then as I turn to tell, the person's missing, and then the person who broke in the house is now at the door, and then I wake up again, and yeah, I've had stuff like that.
In Toby's pre-CPAP days,
Mhm.
I feel like we had more of these. And I know there was a time that you tried to tell me your dream and then you fell asleep and then you dreamt again. And then you tried to tell me your dream.
Mhm.
It's like, what? So I clearly feel that the lack of oxygen in Toby's system further enhanced his ability to dream strange dream.
Mhm.
Sorry, the little flap of the T is like flapping in the air. Mitch asked, "Do you ever check the meanings of dreams?"
I used to have a book. I used to really try to read up and see if I can identify. And um, I didn't really agree with a lot of what was written.
The way they're what is it represented by flying in a
Yeah.
dream
I mean,
versus
some kind of makes sense. Like supposedly flying has connections to sexual pleasure and happiness, whereas nudity is really less about nudity and more about shame and about guilt and stuff like that. But I think a lot of dreams are just really just vivid images of your brain.
yeah.
Save for the times when they seem to
I
mean
feel a
things.
lot of the dream interpretation symbology feels too much like horoscopes or it's like it may generally agree with the shape of
Mhm.
things, but then it's also vague enough that you can't pin it down.
But the tricky part kasi is with horoscopes, the cold reading nature works better because it's not grounded on cultural norms.
Hmm.
So for example, if someone says as a Leo, you don't like people who are annoying. Who doesn't like people who are annoying? But it kind of fits if you're like, oh, I'm Leo, that's so me. But then when you have a dream book and you say dreams of death are dreams about receiving punishment and ganyan, ganyan. But then culturally,
Oh, burpee.
for some people, death is release, or then for another, death
That's
is
yeah, and I
so
think that's
that
the
messes up
challenge.
that messes
Yeah,
up the interpretation.
that's the challenge. Okay. Oh, I think I missed something about Noel said. Have you ever dreamt about something that actually happened?
Okay. Yes. Um, I've had dreams of things that actually happened, and I've had dreams of things I should not know, but I knew. Um, from there was the um, when my grandfather passed away. Some other side. Um, so Lolo used to have this dog named Borgie, who I was terrified of. And Borgie was always at the back of the house back then, nakakulong. And when Lolo was in the hospital and things were uh, not doing well, so we visited often. And then finally, Lolo was back home care. But eventually, emphysema still took its toll. Uh, so it was a painful moment in our lives. But then I had a dream of us still being in the hospital room, me going near to see Lolo sitting and he's happy and he's, calm. And then the walls literally falling like they were a stage. And then the next thing you know, it's just the bed, Lolo. I jump on the bed because the floor is like, flying. We're all just flying. And then from the flying, the big dog Borgie jumps onto the bed. And Lola looks at me and tells me, sabihin mo sa kanila, alam ko na. I wake up and I'm freaked out. I tell my mom. She freaks out. She calls Lola. And as it turns out, later on, I find out from them. So when Lola was not doing too well, Borgie passed away. They didn't tell anyone because they didn't want Lolo to know. Because Borgie was Lola's dog.
Hmm.
So I didn't even know that Borgie was dead. So that message, sobrang, I don't know how else to explain it. For a dream, ang galing naman ng swak. So it's stuff like that. There are moments like that which happen, and I think I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into too much detail. Um, but there have been other lesser dramatic moments. Like in high school, I dreamt a friend had a breakup with a girlfriend, and then I call and true enough, nag-break up na sila, and stuff like that. So those are moments that might be astral projection. I don't know. You, of course, will say that.
I don't remember. I'm so sorry. It's okay. It's okay. We have topics where I talk more, so that's fine.
Okay. I don't want to skip this. Yuri mentions erotic dreams. Yes, there's a lot of erotic dreams that happen. Do you remember your erotic dreams?
No, and I've never had a wet dream.
Okay. I've had a number of erotic dreams, which
Yes.
annoyingly don't reach wet dream status. But I've also had a number of wet dreams. And the annoying thing with many wet dreams is you only remember those last few seconds before you wake up.
I don't know. I always figured that I released on my own too often, and I guess I never built up enough to trigger the biological response that is a wet dream. Okay. All right. So a few things. Karen mentioned she always suspected her deja vu may have been like maybe she dreamt of an event and then like first saw it. So that's possible.
Mhm.
That's possible. Um, Mitch, when I dream, I try to understand why I dreamt about it. Like the last show I watched or something I read, I tried to figure out like which maybe trying to interpret, maybe trying to rationalize. It's a fine line.
Because some say dreaming is the brain resetting.
Yeah,
So-
it's just processing like everything else in the day.
So it's like pulling all these different references and stuff, whether it's stuff that you were thinking about, stuff that you should be thinking
Oh,
about.
and Mitch had an earlier question, like, and isn't it dreaming happens like during
REM.
REM state?
Yeah, the REM state.
Which I now know when it happens because of my Fitbit,
Mm-hmm.
and I know how much
And
REM
it's-
sleep
and
I
it's
get.
freaky. You should. I mean, if ever you catch the moment I slept ahead of you and check if my eyes are like moving on their own, because it's really freaky to look at sometimes because it's super fast.
Hmm.
I mean, you could really see the eye like looking around rapidly. So, I mean, I used to think the REM state was just parang since you're dreaming and you're looking around, so you're like looking around also. But it's not like that. It's more like a typewriter or a.
Because your brain can process things a lot faster naman
Mhm.
than like
So it's just funny when
real
that
life
happens.
stimulus is.
Because it's also weird that there have been times you'd be asleep and dreaming, or probably not dreaming, I don't know. But your eyes are like partly open still.
Hmm. Oh, I had friends like that who like when they sleep, their eyes are like slightly
Mm.
open. Then it's
I'm thankfully not that much anymore, but I used to be like that.
that would totally go with your mask, at night. Like, okay, Rich is sharing that his weird dream with his partner at some costume thing, but then
Mhm.
they were naked, and then a friend figured it was some sort of like them being ready to be open or something like that.
Mm.
And that's like a classic dream
Yeah.
interpretation thing.
You're in,
Noel mentioned dream regression for past lives.
yeah,
Okay.
I've heard of that. Um, well, I had the time I did all the regression during my Spirit Quester days.
Well, Karen has super glued down her third eye. Shut.
I understand, Karen. I totally understand. Yuri mentions dreams of playing role playing games and board games. I have not yet had
A gaming dream. No, you had an RPG game,
RPG, yes.
not board game.
Board game, not.
But I feel like board game has too many moving parts, and it's like one of those. I mean, I don't know how accurate that is. The supposed you can't read in a dream, and but they always establish these things because it's whatever right brain, left brain, whatnot. I mean, I totally buy into that Batman the animated series episode where Batman figured out he was in a
Mhm.
dream because he couldn't read stuff.
But that's Batman. I do know um, I've had those frustrations of being unable to read because I feel like I can't focus.
Mm.
So like there was this one time, this one dream we're in, it was parang last minute, no not last minute, but parang mag go on stage na ako sa play and I'm freaking out because I don't remember my lines.
Mm.
And I'm looking at the script and I can't make sense of it. And then the curtain opens and I'm like freaking out that I wake up.
I've never. So then, like, I mean, so in the mystery solving tonal dreams, it there's definitely that point where I know like this is odd. I know I consciously knows
Mm.
that this is odd, but
What
then
is your first? What do you remember to be the first instance that you realized this has to be true? What gave it away?
um the locations weren't making sense.
Mm.
Normally it's like
Very Inception. Do you remember where you were before you got here?
yeah. Then I noticed that.
Those
I
moments.
noticed the scene shift was like no, but then I'm like curious to see where it'll go and
For
I follow.
many of my driving related dreams, it was the impossibility of the route. Like there was one wherein we were supposed to be in an overpass, we were going out of town. And I was freaking out kasi parang who's paying attention to the route we're taking, baka mawala tayo.
This is normal, Toby, when
And
we're driving.
and when I was looking out the window, I suddenly realized we were like that high from the ground. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is this freeway? Why is it so high? And then just looking ahead, it was like looping up and down. And okay, this has to be a dream. Um,
Yeah, normally it's stuff. Normally, me, it's like I notice things
mhm.
in the dream that are wrong, and then. But I don't like. I don't think I go full on lucid. Like I don't take control. I still play it out.
Mhm.
But then I'm like that creates a distance that I'm not scared or anything because I know it's not real.
When I was learning to note my lucid dream states, what made me understand that was the realization gravity felt wrong. Because like
Mm.
I'd be dreaming,
So you're like a CGI movie.
but then as I dream, I realize why do I feel I'm on my back, even if I
Mm.
can see I'm standing.
Okay.
So it was stuff like that that helps me realize I'm lucid dreaming.
Mitch shares the classic dreamt of food and when she woke up was super craving for food.
Yeah, I have that. And the gifts and the money. Yun nga eh, yung mga, like, there was this one dream na inis ako kasi it was a, parang, I'm gonna laugh at me. So, ito yung envelope. And then me, oh no, baka mawala. So I hide it. And then I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, I can't remember where I hid it.
And the problem with this is that this is close enough to real life. that
No!
Toby hides things for safekeeping.
Well,
and
that's
then
true.
it's
I
not
had my,
true.
oh,
Just this morning, I was like, oh, bonus 1,000 in his wallet. And like, because your wallet's a mess.
Karen mentions, I wonder why we dream. Even cats, even her cats dream. Yes. Yoshi. Remember, we used to watch Yoshi dreaming, and
Yeah.
Yoshi would have that. He starts running, and then and I'm like, oh,
So cute.
he's dreaming. He's chasing after something.
Carlo had dreams of Minecraft back
Mhm.
when it was still a thing for him.
Was it dreams of playing Minecraft,
Or you were
you
in Minecraft? That's a good question. Kenny was asking, can you easily influence what you're gonna dream about?
I believe yes, because in the past I used to do that.
Hmm.
I used to have those. I want to dream about this, so I used to like psych myself for it. I used to repeat it. Now I've stopped doing that. I use that. I use the same technique more to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wake up at 6. I wake up at 6. I wake up at 6. I wake up at
Toby's
6.
chanting before he goes to sleep and like, I have a meeting at 8. I have a meeting
Now,
at 8.
it
I have a
doesn't
meeting at
necessarily
8.
mean I'll wake up at 6, but then at certain points in the dream, I will have that recall, oh, you have to wake up at 6. And I push it and I wake up and all that.
It's funny.
So I had those moments.
But no, so I don't know. And then me, because my dreams are mostly mundane, I don't necessarily think I directly influence beyond real life.
But that does sort of imply that what you input does greatly affect your dreams. Because I'm super into horror. I'm super into reading about third eye, spiritualism, etc. etc.
Given everything I read, I have never dreamt I've been in space,
But
space station.
But you read all those accepting and embracing their fiction.
I've never dreamt of superheroes. I've never
Do you
dreamt of
imagine
comics.
yourself to be superheroes
No.
when you're see that's my point. So maybe it has that level of
But if it's you, it's not like you believe in the horror.
no, but I like imagining I'm in it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Urim does share there are a lot of theories. Noel also shares that his dog also used to talk in his sleep. Um, yeah, these are earlier comments. I'm just catching up on some
Rich
that
is
we
like,
skipped
on the
over.
subject of erotic dreams, have you ever dreamt of sleeping with someone you've never expected or imagined you've slept with?
Yes, I've had a few. Of
He's
those.
had weird sexual partners in his dreams, and he'll tell me about them. Some of them straight friends.
So I'm like, I just dreamt I did it with him, yeah.
And
And it's not even I enjoyed it. I was like,
which is just so weird.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know why that was the dream. So again, I'll just.
I haven't had sexual dreams.
Or
At least
you
I don't remember. Sorry, that's the mantra for today. Kenny, multiple occasions, fantasy dreams where there is magic and mystical areas. So that's nice. And to be fair, Carlo clarifies only playing Minecraft and not. Considering, okay, and to be fair, considering all my late nights of playing point-and-click adventure games, Diablo, StarCraft, and really like even like Civilization, and super stupid. Like it's 4 in the morning, I'm still playing, and then I sleep. I've never dreamt of any of my games.
You did mention that the dreams you do remember are about trying to solve this problem and so
But
that could be the.
I don't think they
translation to it.
feel. I don't think they necessarily happen at the same point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Mitch also mentioned earlier. I don't know if we covered this. Someone calls your name and you wake up.
I think that's me calling Toby because it's always like, and then going verify.
Okay, you have to explain the verify.
Okay. So Toby, to be fair, let's say this is pre CPAP Toby. Pre CPAP Toby. You could have entire conversations with Toby while he's asleep, and
these are like completely asleep.
completely asleep and complete conversations.
And these were sensible conversations.
Yeah,
generally
the most
sensible.
the key one that we figured it out. Well, I figured it out. That okay, this is really something weird. Is that we talked about? We were at his parents' house. He took a nap. His dad drops by asking if Toby wants
That's through the
pizza,
window.
wants shakies. Then yes. Does he also want chicken? And then yes. So they had a conversation. Okay. And then when he wakes up, I wake him up and like, hey, they say the pizza's there. And then, oh, how nice, there's pizza. And like, you asked for chicken, and like you specified the order. So and it's like, no, I didn't. What are you talking about? So this is where we began the concept that Toby has an alternate
and I
identity
still
known
refuse
as Archer.
and I still refuse to believe it.
Yes.
But
There was
um,
an earlier incident
but
that Urim is talking
so
about.
there's now that incident which Urim mentioned. We're in. Urim and I headed out late night, and we decided to hit the spa. Got a great massage, but then we felt it was too early to go home. We messaged some friends, and they were like, "Sige, let's go out and eat." So we picked them up. We went to Alabang. We ate very full, and then we brought the friends home. And then on the drive back home, I fell asleep. But of course, uh, you're already writing. While driving, Urim was conversing, and
As is the duty of the person who calls shotgun.
and
that
he was
you have to
basically
talk to the
talking to
driver.
me about role playing game stuff, and I was answering. But it turns out I was already asleep. So the next thing we know, we smash into a car, and yeah,
And Toby got mad at Urim because Urim let him fall asleep.
I was angry because I was like, you should have noticed I was asleep. Of course, that's bad me, no. But I was feeling annoyed that this accident happened. I felt like I should
And it
have
was
noticed.
just in the village.
But Urim insists. Well, this was outside. This was in the
But still, it's
going,
like
yeah.
it's not that far
Yeah.
from home. Is
So,
the point.
but Urim was insistent nga na, no, you, I was talking to you. You were answering pa, ganyan yan.
So it wasn't until like a few years later when I entered the picture that hey, there's something weird, and then it keeps happening. It kept happening. It kept happening. Especially, and then the worst is like especially after Obar, and we've been drinking.
And this was after Obar or the times ng night shift ka pa.
Yeah, or like he's
Kasi-
been to Obar
Yeah, sorry.
alone, and then I get home and like he's, so I was night shift, so I would come home, he's asleep, but then he's clearly been drinking, and then
And then I'd fight
yeah,
you.
then I'll creep into bed and like I'll give him a hug, and then I'll be like, no, Rocky only. I'm like what? And then he'll just be angry, snarly, turning away. I'll try to kiss him, and then so all this weird shit, right? And then
Hey, Mon.
but then I figured that if I can take his hand, and I don't know why, like as a blind person, make him touch my. Normally it's like this, but I don't want to touch my glasses. But I'll do that, and then a goofy grin kind of just flashes over his face, and then I feel like it disarms the alarm system. And he's like,
Rocky.
Rocky, love. And then I can wake him up, and then like, oh, you're home, and then now I'm no.
So the nickname is Archer.
Yeah.
Because, like Mon, Aniwalasal. But yeah, so the Archer defense system, as Rocky calls it, because I have supposedly pushed Rocky away.
many
I've-
times,
I've been
many
very
times.
defensive of my purity in my state of sleep.
Yes.
To the point that there were ano, di ba, yung the giggle, I'm fighting back, and then I wake up and I'm like looking at you, na parang, oh.
You're like angry, and then oh, and then ay nako. So yeah, so then like there are times that we're talking na, and even if it's not like defensive talk anymore, we're just just woke up. I'm not getting up yet. I'm talking to Toby, and then he's telling me about his dream, but then it's not making sense because then he's saying things like it's like we have to go, and like huh. And then I'll just get his hand, and then like authenticate, and then to be like, huh? And he'll get mad na, but like, no, I'm not talking in my sleep, and like, you just were. So,
Hmm.
mm.
So yeah, and admittedly, this
Yes, I will admit it is kind of sweet. A lot of people are saying it's kind of sweet. It's also kind of weird.
it was
And I have to defend myself because Archer's been used to be very violent in the early days.
Hindi naman violent, rough lang. Ito naman, it sounds like I'm beating you up. Hindi naman.
If you have tried to elbow me away more than once because I to be fair I hug you from behind. Karen asked, were his eyes open? No, they were totally closed. And that's like always my number one warning sign that I'm not talking to Toby.
So yeah, in Europe's case, yes.
So it's even scarier. I
Because
don't
there
know.
have been instances that yes, my eyes are open. I know there were some instances I was falling asleep from exhaustion while running a game, and I still continue running the game. But then I'll realize I'm saying weird stuff, and I'll wake up, and I'm like, I don't know, what the hell was that? So yeah, so that's the that's the Archer story. Um, oh my god, yeah.
It's always good to bring up. Guys, today is Wheelie Day. For
I,
those who are
yes,
unfamiliar. Uh, it's not our anniversary, but
it was.
it's an anniversary of the day that we realized
We wanted to
weren't
be
we
together.
weren't going to be just friends.
Yeah.
And I was still in a relationship.
Mhm.
But it's a very memorable day. Um, so yeah,
Rocky
so fun.
only. Oh my god. I used to think it was the alcohol, but I don't know
It's
now.
totally random now.
It
And
just
then,
really happened.
but then there's really like, it's just like Toby's like, and I, like, we have to go. And like, go where? The dogs. You know?
Okay, okay, wait. I'm sorry. Tangent on the comment. So Noelle is saying, so excited for Obar's reopening. We are too. We can't wait for the reopening. We're anxious to see how it will be done. We know that Obar is taking all the considerations to be safe, to be sure, to be practical. So we will be there to support once we can.
Yeah, and we've said that naman. I mean, like many times, like as soon as it's safe-ish to reopen, or as long as Obar finds a way to reopen, we will try to find a way to safely support them.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, it's been a year because and this was totally stressed by the fact that last Friday was Brigading's birthday show, and then
Mhm.
like crap, that was the
Last
last
show
thing
we
we
saw.
ever saw at
Yes,
Obar before
it
12.
was.
Okay,
So Mon asks again, was there ever a part one, part two dream? Yes. I've had multiple part dreams on one sleeping as well as in separate nights. The separate nights thing was kind of freaky because it was a series of nightmares that kept recurring, and that was the gear dream. That was still the gear dream. Um, there was the other one, which was a recurring dream, which I think was caused by a horror movie because it kept. It was the sleep paralysis type of dream that there's someone in the room and it was
Mhm.
always the same person. And it reached a point na inis ako because that was my spirit quester days. And I'm like, I'm doing the protections, I'm doing the ganyan, ganyan, and I'm still having a dream. And I'm like, punyeta, this is a dream. So inabangan ko siya. And it was the type na when I started having the dream, I allowed it to happen and I was just staring back. And then parang I realized it was just a dream. So I lost the fear. So it was that sort of a weird thing. It felt very, very Flight of Dragons. It's like parang I'm yelling science at it or something. Astronomy, geology, mathematics. Um, yeah.
I don't know, and like I mean, like I've had I've had people tell me like I've had very like violent bad dream
Mhm.
moments, like punching the wall, type hitting my head against a wall.
You
Bad
had
dreams.
once when I was waking you, but it wasn't violent punching something, but you were like turning, trying to.
Oh, there was one. It dates back to like shortly after I left home,
Mhm.
and given the circumstances of my leaving home were less than ideal, obviously I was going through a lot of stress.
Mhm.
So I think that manifested in weird ways. So, but yeah, I don't know about episodic, but hmm.
But yes, I guess in general, given the comments, there's a lot of 1 year. It's been 1 year, and because it's been 1 year of the pandemic, so a lot of us are celebrating that it's been 1 year of blank, and I guess I know it. And as much as it can feel depressing to think that we're stuck in this rut, thanks to the way things are being mishandled, and we'll not get into further detail on that, we can at least just try to focus on the fact that it's been 1 year and we've survived the pandemic so far.
Yay!
Diba? And not to be insensitive to those who are having it hard, but don't discount that you are
Count your
surviving.
blessings, we're still here.
And you are surviving a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's not just it's not just a long vacation at home. It's literally the world is struggling to recover, and
That was a
we're all-
shady choice of phrase.
We're all still trying to do what we can. So don't discount your survival. Don't discount still being around
Wait,
and
wait
still
lang.
finding ways to
Noel is
survive.
like constantly stressing na early reservation. Yeah, like, I don't know, pwede bang ano, may block booking ba?
Oo nga eh. Meron bang season pass?
Meron bang ano, parang yung sa toll gate, na ano,
Free,
naka-prepay na.
prepay, tapos ano ka na, bayad ka na, tapos kino-consume na lang. Parang
Ah.
gano'n. So parang, eto, 5,000. And then, sabihan mo na lang ako, pag down to 1,000 na lang, tapos magre-reload ako. Pwede rin yun. I wouldn't mind that.
Contactless, diba?
Kasi, ang ano rin doon, ano, you go or you not, naka-ready na yung bayad.
We just really miss Omar.
Yeah, we miss.
So it's
And there were some also joking na parang, so when it opens ba, magkaka-eyeball ba ang Baduy Pride? Well, we can't promise you a space on the table because we're sure there will be rules on, social distancing. But
yeah.
you're always welcome to join us at Obar, whether or not we're there.
Yeah, we'll wave from afar. Or if you want, we can video call you from our table. Like, hi. Ay, naka.
And speaking of dreams, have you had any dreams that were situated or based at Obar?
No.
I've had
It's always school, work, or home.
I've had a few, and I know I told you some of this.
Yes.
Like there was
It's
one,
normally weird people you see at home.
or that one wherein I was freaking out because the dream was Mon and Rupert was asking us to parang continue the bar, and I was like, wait, where are you going? Are you guys leaving? Are you going out of the country? Ganyan ganyan. And then kayo na bahala, ganyan ganyan. Which I don't know if it was just a
If it was a trip,
or
bilin,
or
something
was
else.
the dream a what's called this exaggerated version of the when they do go on a trip and say kayo na muna magbantay. Kasi I remember that dream was freaking me out.
We totally would, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, oh.
And I know for me, I get freaked out because I had dreams sometimes that seem like messages. So there's
Ah, that's true.
But that was so long ago. That was
Mm-mm.
7, 8 years
That was
ago.
Cubao pa.
Yeah.
That was Cubao pa when you last had that one. Okay. Dream OSTs. Do you remember music in dreams?
Yes. I have had dreams where I composed a song.
Oh my god.
And I'm struggling to remember it. I remember, I think it's in one of my old notebooks. I even tried to write, parang I wrote line, trying to get the scale. But then when I look at it and I try,
It would help if you knew how to write sheet
Notate.
music. Yeah, yeah. So,
but I remember there have been some dreams na gano'n na, it's really catchy. It's a cool tune. And then,
at the most, like, I don't necessarily remember music in dreams, but then in our early dating days, I would have moments where I'd wake up and I'd be immediately thinking of a song. And then Toby's listening to it.
okay, comment was interesting. Noel and Mon both remembered their New York trip recently.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. Mm. Okay, let's do that again. Mm. Oh.
Sorry, this is my nephew. A few months ago, he was doing this a lot. I think it's changed and he's like doing this now or like doing this. So
Tracy naman, my nephew naman is all now learning the alphabet, and they have all these tangents when they go through the letters.
yeah.
You saw the video ba? When
No,
Tracy was
not
going
recent.
through it? Yeah. Ay, nako. Saya.
Hmm.
Noel says tea. Maybe
Tea.
coffee and milk. Um,
I don't know where to go with that one.
what else about dreams? So we had soundtracks. Did you have dreams? Did any of you have dreams where you saw someone you don't know, but later you meet the person?
No, people are either generally familiar or indistinguishable, unrecognizable. For me, I'm
I know.
assuming you had.
No. For me, a lot of the faces are fuzzy. And
okay.
again, I think it's because I have trouble remembering faces.
That is true though.
So-
Toby's wide awake and can't remember.
So I
faces.
had a lot of dreams wherein I know the person because it's that dream logic na makita mo pala yung silhouette, you know that's black because the dream says it has to be that person. But then I don't have dreams of I look and then I recognize the people. It's really more I already know it's them. Faceless peeps, yeah, Mitch.
Of
For
course,
me,
it was like a soulmate. I don't know.
I know some people believe in that. Now you'll dream of the person who will happen to be your soulmate.
Hmm.
I haven't really experienced that.
Karen, about senses. Do you dream in color? Do you remember tactile and scents and whatnot? And I don't know. But it feels mundane. And when I say mundane, I don't mean boring. Mundane isn't so normal. So I don't necessarily notice things being
Out of
super
normal.
out of
Mm-hmm.
so I think I have color. I'm pretty sure I have color. I don't know about tactility because I don't always
Mm-hmm.
interact with things. Um, and then scents, I don't know.
I haven't had scent as far as I remember, but I do remember tactile and taste because in some of those dreams, I kind of remember the taste, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I wonder if it's really tasting like that.
because you'll sleep mumble sometimes about the food that you're whatever you're eating. So then it's like
That too.
well, also I think of the feeling in dreams you remember, so you remember how you felt with the person, parang ganun. Mon says he dreams in color. Okay.
Mm. Yeah. Mon also dreams of tactile and scents.
Interesting. So I don't know. I don't know. So that's my only frustration about dreams as a topic. Only because I feel like there are so many interesting stories that
Mm.
everybody has about their dreams, and then I'm always like, I don't really remember.
Now, one technique which I was taught before was that you can train yourself to remember your dreams.
Hmm.
You can, because dreams supposedly are intended to not be all this mishmash of stuff that your brain uses to decompile, and that's why they're really meant to be forgotten.
Mm-mm.
So it's normal that you don't remember, but then you can train now to remember more. It's sort of like it's sort of like when you train yourself to remember scripts or you train yourself to remember what you're studying. There's that active willingness to remember it. And the basic technique supposedly is before you sleep, you just tell yourself, I want to remember my dreams. You lock that in your head. So when you now start dreaming, that thought comes back and you start to remember a bit more. So you can try that.
Mm. One asks, when you wake up, how long do you normally remember the dream? So I don't. So I think it's like seconds of I kind of have a feeling and then it's gone.
Mhm.
Toby minutes. Hence his oral tradition dream dump of I had this weird dream.
And
And then he
then
starts
and then
dictating.
sometimes while telling it, it's
Yeah, then
fading
it's like
na.
it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going.
Yeah, and it's so annoying.
Of course, Noel's like the whole dream journal thing. Keep a notebook beside, right?
Mhm.
Right, the first thing that comes
Yes,
to
Karen
mind.
also shares that some dreams you remember for years. I totally agree. Uh,
And I think because like more often than not, yeah, it's like these weird mundane dreams of like I went to work or I
mhm.
already started working or already started doing chores. Then I just get annoyed. Na parang, I have to repeat my day. It's like I already did this part. Why am I doing this part again?
For
And
me, it was the ano. Yeah, it's that the naligo na ako, nagbihis na ako, and then pagkagising mo, shit, nagbibihis pa lang ako. Or like, I've had dreams of that kasi high school. So, ginising na ako ng baby, naligo na ako, nag-school bus na, nag-morning assembly na, and then, class, okay, pop quiz. Di ako naman, ha? And then I wake up. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to go through all that again.
hmm. So I don't know. Honestly, I'm at a point in my life where I don't know if a dream journal is going to be helpful. Only because my handwriting is degraded due to lack of writing. I barely write.
Mhm.
I mostly type. It's also because my typing is so much clearer than my writing. I've given myself over to digital note taking almost entirely. So it's something to think about.
Urium shares dreams of commuting. For me, it's dreams of driving and getting lost.
I don't always remember journeying, and I think that's always like very Metal Gear Solid. It's like These rooms are not connected. Like, how did I get here?
Ever had a dream that came true?
Yeah, Toby earlier mentioned.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's had a few weird like.
Yeah, and more and mine though are not deja vu.
Yeah,
It's not I dreamt this will happen and then it happens, but more
information that you shouldn't know.
Yeah.
That you know.
and then we learn it has happened or it did occur. So yeah.
Carlos shares his dreams lately are him back in school or college, and then later realize while in the dream that you've already graduated, and always grateful for that. That's a
I
relief.
hate those dreams. I recently had, well, not recently, but here na in BGC, I do remember having a dream of panicking about a school report.
Hmm.
So parang in the dream, I was like trying to find the files on computer, and then um, waking up sa bed, thinking to get ready and wondering, okay, paano ko ito gagawin? Ano explain ko? Paano ko explain na wala akong report? And then I wake up again, and I'm like, oh God, tapos na yung school. I don't have to do that. But yeah. What?
Mon says it's because we don't have penmanship in Ateneo. Okay, there were writing classes in the early days, but probably just like grades 1 and 2, 3. I don't know.
And Mon,
There was cursive until grade 3.
and Mon, sa Lasal meron din tayong typing, di ba? Yung teacher, yung mag-aano ng kahoy. Tapos nag-aano siya. Kasi ginagano niya sa board yung mga itatype mo. To teach you to type with both hands and not just your pinkies. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Karen shares, good thing I haven't peed the bed. I have.
Yeah, guys, like I dreamed of going to the bathroom because she had to pee, but then become lucid and realize she haven't gone to the bathroom.
Yeah, I
No,
have.
Toby has wet the bed.
I've had, and it was that annoying, you dreamt you went to the bathroom. So finally, and then why am I feeling it? And then, oh shit, I wake up, and then it's wet, and then I go get a Dario. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't happen a lot, and it's definitely. I always say like so much of this cleared up since the CPAP.
Mhm.
At least some of the crazier stuff. You still dream. You still have distinct, memorable dreams. You will still wake up and tell me, I had this weird dream. It's the mantra. It's
Mhm.
like memory loss is common in the Blue City and all that. So, but yeah, that's my life with Toby. Well, once like I paid someone to do my typing lessons. That's such a poor typist.
Mon, there's this game na, typing of the dead. So the zombies
That's
are
very
closing in,
old.
but you can type to kill them. Maganda siya pan-practice kasi masaya.
Actually, there are a lot of like typing games
Yeah.
still out there.
And then there's even now this racing game wherein you have to type the words to be the first in the race. So masaya siya. What else? What else? Um, do you recall a dream that did not have you in it?
No, my dreams are always first person.
Hmm.
My dreams are always very first person.
How about any of you guys out there? Have you had dreams that didn't have you in it?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
But then I later realized I might be the one observing.
Directing,
But
observing.
but it's not. How do I explain it? Kasi parang when I realize I'm dreaming, sometimes the context is you're there, right? You're doing this, you're actively doing something. But there have been some times that I dream and I'm just seeing the scene. And as I watch the scene, parang camera, you zoom in, you're gonna.
Kasi you're directing.
So I don't feel like I'm the person. And then later on na lang, someone will reference me or someone will and then that's when I realize nandito pala ako. So I've had ganung moments.
Okay. Kenny says he has sort of a few God omniscient moments in dreams. Mitch, again, also the observer type concept.
Good night, Mon.
Oh, good night, Mon.
Sweet dreams.
Nice to have you drop by. Okay, Carla says, had a dream when the main character is not me and play the bit, but he played the bit part.
Oh, that's interesting.
No, I am the star of my dreams. It's not a star because yeah, it's always first person perspective for me. It's literally I'm going through my day.
Mm.
So I that's why I mainly buy into the this is my body processing and then my brain processing the previous day's events or whatever, or just mismashing stuff. But yeah, it's doesn't mean I always think about work. I don't know.
So I guess we've covered a good range of dream-related topics.
Yes.
I guess the last few ones I would have to share would be techniques you might want to try or little thing practices that you might want to consider doing. These are among some of the stuff I used to do or I learned during my more wackier days.
Wacky.
Um, One example would be you could try programming your dreams in the sense of, uh, tell yourself that you would like to dream about this or talk aloud to yourself that you'd like to see something in your dream and see if after a few days it starts to appear. Um, the second is whenever you do have your sleep paralysis type of horrible dream wherein you wake up and you can't seem to feel your body, it's always the small body parts that you should start wriggling, the toes and the pinkies. Um,
Wiggle your big.
and that will actually help you realize your body's waking up. And that tends to be the pins and needles feeling. So it's not the best feeling in the world, but it does suddenly tell you tulog ang katawan mo. And that's it. Um, and then what else?
Kenny doesn't recommend sleeping on a full stomach. Too vivid and can be too scary.
And it's supposedly dangerous.
Yeah, it supposedly leads to bangungot, if
Um,
that is a thing.
bangungot, which I think the medical, I forgot the term. There was a medical term for that. But the idea, basically, well, the old wives' folklore is that too much blood is focused on digestion, so your other systems are taxed. But then there's the other medical and wherein since it's so full,
Something gets
the
dislodged and then
reflux the
then
reflux can push upwards, which then can, cause you to choke on yourself. And then sometimes you don't clear that out that easily when you start coughing.
Mitch dreams during the day. I have had daytime Archer
Mm.
conversations.
Mhm.
So it's like I play around with it for a while and then I'm like, Toby, wake up. Or if not, authenticate, authenticate. And then Toby just like, it's not authenticate. And like, I know.
Eh,
I
nakakainis
was dealing with
minsan.
Archer again.
Nakakainis minsan kasi I guess I wake up in the midst of the authentication process.
Yeah.
So I can hear you saying it and I'm like, ay nako, yun na naman.
Yeah, because I literally say authenticate, authenticate.
It's me, love, love, it's me.
To be fair, okay, and like totally like it's late enough in the evening. My face is not the only part that authenticates. I'll leave it to you to figure it out. But I can there are and admittedly the other method is faster. So sad. But it's the only way sometimes to bring Toby out of it. But I'll be really like authenticate, authenticate.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So Noel says he has a meeting also tomorrow, so he's gonna
It was
have to
nice to
shower.
have you again, Noel. Well, actually, I think we're gonna wrap up.
Karen also shares, Karen Dalek. So yeah, so those are little other techniques that you might want to consider. For those who feel like you're having recurring nightmares or you're suddenly scared that the dreams might be something else, um, many will of course say prayer helps or um, you know make a petition to whatever higher power you believe in to protect yourself. One practice I used to do, and I know I also sometimes jump back to doing it just in case if I get really scared of something, is to imagine a pyramid of white light protecting you. It's this supposed practice back when my spirit quester days. Imagine your higher being, whoever you believe that to be, descending down a pyramid of white light to protect you, and that's a safety. Whether you believe it or not, that's really up to you. But I'm just throwing it out there because sometimes it helps to hear that there's something you can try using if you're someone who feels afraid of something. And then lastly, um, yeah, devices can mess up your dreams.
Mm.
Because the devices keep your brain more awake than not. So when you try to sleep, you might end up leaching stuff in from what you were last doing before you went to bed. So that's something to consider.
I have not had a pimple popper or ear cleaning dream.
Because you do it in real life to me.
But I've, but a lot before that used to be my late night content, like right before bed. Like I'm like,
Yeah, and then I wake up and you're doing it to me.
that's not a dream. That's just fun.
But yeah, as someone who was a huge fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, fighting your dreams can be terrifying, but also can be quite liberating. So the next time you have a nightmare, don't allow it to take over and make yourself realize it's a dream and I will best it. And the best way you can best it sometimes is by showing it you wake up. I guess that's it. Any last words?
I barely remember my dreams. That's not, I think it's appropriate that I say it now because I've been saying it all throughout the episode.
Then, let's try it. Let's have you try
I don't know
saying,
if I want to remember my dreams.
That's
I
the
mean,
point.
it's functional as it is.
That's
My
a good
life
point.
is fine, and I get through it well enough.
Why you don't want Van Damme to appear in your dreams?
Um, Especially if you call him Steven Seagal. I mean, he's gonna be very upset.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Athletic. um, Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun and we hope you'll join us again next time.
If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. Thanks again to Carlo for this two-part episode suggestion where first there was sleep and then there was dreaming. Actually, I was digging through the suggestions list. Carlo first suggested sleeping, dreaming, and blah, blah, blah as one. And then, like a week later, he does sleep and then dreams in separate. So you've been like very insistent that we talk about this, and I'm glad we finally tackled it today. You can follow us on Twitter, all Toby No Shade, RG Sunico.
You can also check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes and stuff about us. Oh my god, we're almost 150 episodes.
And then feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what are your experiences with your dreams. And do you have an authentication system in place? Maybe you should. Be sure to subscribe for notifications, whether on Facebook or YouTube, so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby. And this is Baduy Pride.